right now we are now talking about PMS. Please, before we do everything, please subscribe, please like, please comment, do what you gotta do so that I can keep doing what I gotta do. I'm in such a weird mood after this vendor event. I'm just like so high on likes. It was so good. Today we're talking about PMS. I was going to do a cycle syncing, but then I'm like, I might save that for later because I really want to do like a walk around cycle syncing. Go through the kitchen, the best foods to eat, make it a little bit interactive. But with this baby, I am not very interactive. So let's quickly talk about PMS because my mission is that every girl doesn't have PMS or doesn't have very much PMS because they got balanced hormones, they understand their body and they know how to support their body during different times of the cycle so they don't get bad PMS. Sound good? Great. So the main reason why you get PMS is because as you go through your cycle, you start off with lower estrogen, then it rises at ovulation, drops right before ovulation, you ovulate, and then it starts to rise a little bit later again. Now, the drop between when your estrogen is high and progesterone, it's gone up a little bit, but not that much, not compared to estrogen. That drop, that is what can cause your headaches, your mood swings, blah, blah, blah. It's that drop of estrogen. Got it? So that's the science behind it, okay? It's in a really simple manner. So you just understand why am I getting PMS. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you don't have too much estrogen. You can go do a test at your naturopath, but we don't need to do that. What we want to make sure we're doing is detoxifying your liver as effectively as possible. So right now you might not actually be detoxifying your liver very well. So, and if then you've got too much estrogen, which is actually really bad, not just for your PMS, but for things like ovarian cancer and estrogen dominance, which leads to all these other nasty things that you don't want to be getting, and I don't want you to get either. So, liver detoxification. You need to include more leafy greens, more cauliflower. Oh my god, I love roast cauliflower. Roast some cauliflower in the oven with some olive oil and oregano and salt. Oh my god. And then tell me how much you loved that and you were licking the tray because that's legit me on a Friday night. Like, oh my god. Probably gonna have that tonight because I'm having cauliflower pizza. I'm gonna like roast extra on the side just for like, I don't know, I just love cauliflower. So you want to be having lots of roast cauliflower. Make sure it's well cooked though, otherwise it's a bit hard on your thyroid. So cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, bok choy, cabbage, kale. They are all the goodies, and any other ones from the brassica family, that are amazing for flushing out estrogen. So you want to make sure you are doing that. You also want to reduce your liver loaders, so things like alcohol, sugar, caffeine, and anything in your environment that's toxic. So let me know, would you like me to do a YouTube on like my bathroom supplies, like what products I use, the things I make for myself, like I make my own face spritz, face wash, mouthwash. I think that's it for the moment, but I'm going to do more. Shall I go through that? I think I should go through that. Tell me, do you want me to go through all of my like skincare and stuff that are like toxic free? Because I can do that. So you want to be getting rid of those toxic skincare products and makeup and stuff because that's not going to help your liver, and you're not going to flush out that estrogen, which is what you really want to do. So that's the first thing, making sure that you're flushing out your estrogen effectively, and your estrogen can lower a little bit, which is really good because it means the drop between your estrogen and progesterone is a lot smoother and not as sudden, leaving you with a migraine. So that's the first thing you want to make sure that you're doing. You also want to make sure that you are not overexerting yourself too much. Women really can't cope with a lot of stress, and if you are finding that you are dealing with a lot of stress and then you're getting, you know, a bad period or whatever a month or two later, that is a great sign that your body can't deal with stress. For me, stress blows me up. It makes me really inflamed and I don't get my period. I'm very, very sensitive to stress, which is really shit because I'm such an A-type personality. I just want to let go, and I don't love being stressed, but I love the hustle. And I have to be really careful because the hustle, I might love the hustle, but my ovaries do not love the hustle. So I gotta be careful of that. So you wanna make sure you're not overexerting yourself. It takes 100 days for your follicles to reach ovulation. 100 days. So if you've had a really stressful experience, a trauma, an injury, an accident 3 months ago or 100 days ago, whatever that is, that can then show up and manifest like the 3 months later than that date in your period as bad PMS or whatever, or cramp, which is PMS, or really heavy period or whatever. So if you've got really bad PMS, like this coming up cycle, just think, what was I doing 100 days ago? Like, was I really stressed? Did I have a trauma? And it's really interesting to try and like tie the two together. So I recommend doing that. And then it will also help you pinpoint, okay, every time I have a stressful incident, I'm getting a bad period. I'm like Monica, I'm really sensitive to stress. Or you could be like, every time I eat too much sugar, I get a really bad period. Okay, I need to stop eating sugar. And it just helps you tie the two together. I'm not saying you got to quit sugar, quit this, quit that, quit going out, basically be a hermit in your bedroom. I'm not saying that. I'm saying figure out what it is for you, because we're all different. So, you know, for me, stress, as I said before, is the bad one. Whereas like for my sister, for example, she can be stressed, she can exercise her ass off and it doesn't affect her period. But for me, it really affects my period. I'm very masculine, but I'm a bit more feminine in that area than she is. So that's just interesting. Okay, so now I want to talk about some of the PMS symptoms and what it might actually be telling your body, so you can help navigate that, because me just leaving you with what I've already said isn't that helpful. Well, the liver bit is. Definitely do the liver. Everyone needs to do liver. Alright, a heavy period. Oh my god. For all you heavy period babes out there, I get you. Before I went on the pill, I would sit on the toilet and it would just be like gushing out of me like pee. I would get so many blood clots and whatever, and I just thought that was the way it was meant to be. Like, oh, poor me, I get really heavy periods, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was so heavy, I couldn't wear a tampon. I had to wear maternity pads. Maternity pads. It was disgusting and embarrassing. Anyway, that's that. Now I know, right? Now on a mission to change the world for women. So, heavy period, it's not how it's meant to be, and it's a sign that something is not in equilibrium in your body. So we're going to get it there. So you definitely want to clean up your diet. You have too much estrogen in your body and your liver isn't getting rid of it, and you don't want your liver to be reabsorbing the estrogen, because that's where it becomes really dangerous. So you need to eat more vegetables, you need to clean up your diet, you need to get rid of the sugar. If you can't get rid of the dairy, that's fine. If you clean up your diet by getting rid of the sugar and increasing the vegetables, so on your plate, do 70% vegetables, you know, just shove more vegetables in your diet so that you are pushing out the dairy, the gluten, and the sugar. That's a really good tip. Instead of having to say to yourself, I can't eat sugar, I can't eat dairy, I can't eat this now you're saying, I get to eat more veggies, I get to eat more meat, I get to eat more fat, right? More avocado, more smashed avo. Instead of saying, I can't have this, I can't have that, because as soon as you say, I can't have this, I can't have that, you want it more. Trust me, it's human instinct. When someone says no to us, or when we say no to ourselves, we want it all the more. So do not say no to yourself. You need to clean up your diet. That's number one for reducing those really, really heavy periods. If you have really, really light periods, that's a sign of stagnant blood, which is a term they use in traditional Chinese medicine. So you want to be increasing your warm foods, your root veggies, your warm water, and warming your body up to get the blood moving so you get a regular colored period. And a regular colored period is like a deep red. Some other things for the stagnant periods is healthy oils, healthy fats, and sea vegetables are also really, really great for that. Bloating. I'm pretty sure everybody gets bloated on their period. While sometimes it's inevitable and you're just gonna get bloating, you know, I know it's easier said than done, but embrace it. Like, you're a woman, you're on your period, you get to create a baby. Like, how fucking cool is that? You can grow a human inside of you. I just think that's freaking amazing. So, you're bloated, you know what? Your boyfriend should go, you look fucking hot, babe, because you can create a freaking baby, which is a fucking human, which is so cool. You bring life into the world. Anyway, not going to go on about that because I love it too much. But bloating, you want to increase your water to flush out those toxins. If it's really cold, you don't want to be drinking water. Drinking lots more tea, peppermint tea, or warm water and lemon, all that sort of stuff to just flush out the toxins. Increase fennel, so you can cook some, you don't have to have it raw, you can cook some fennel with some other roasted veggies in the oven, and fennel's really good for digestion. You can also contact me and I can set you up with the doTERRA account, and then you get Digest Zen, which is incredible. It's like, you're like out here 1 minute and then it's like, phew, next minute, like flat as a pancake, nothing there. It's really good. So, help you with that. And then of course you want to increase your vegetables, increase your leafy greens, and remove the processed food, especially the heavy carbs and all that sugar and stuff, because that's just going to cause more inflammation in your body and it's just not good. So remove that. If you suffer from hormonal acne, sometimes it is just hormones, but something that's actually been found to really help is getting rid of dairy. So if you suffer from acne, then I would definitely trial 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, the longer you can do it, the better to trial it out, of fully cutting out dairy and seeing how your body goes, seeing how your skin clears up, how your bloating goes, how your inflammation goes, because a lot of us are very sensitive to dairy, even though we don't know it. We don't like to admit it to ourselves. You know, we all love the bit of Parmesan cheese on the spag bowl. But just try cutting it out for 2 weeks. It's not that you have to cut it out for life. Just try cutting it out for 2 weeks and it might actually really clear up your acne. Of course, drink lots of water for your acne, reduce sugar for your acne, because that's really important, because that just causes inflammation, and get off the pill. The thing is, if you are on the pill and if you are on the pill for your acne, when you come off the pill, it's very likely to be a lot worse, because when you're on the pill, your sebum in your skin, the pill blocks the sebum production in your skin, but your body is like, I've got to keep making more, I've got to keep making more, because the pill's blocking it. So then when you come off, your body's the pill, when you come off the pill, your body's still like, gotta make more, so you get more sebum, and that's where you can get more acne. So if you've come off the pill and you found that your acne's gotten worse, then definitely remove sugar and definitely remove dairy for a trial period to see how you go, or contact me for more information. And of course for acne, it's always to do with the gut and liver, so make sure your liver's detoxifying well enough, or as at the beginning, make sure your gut's actually functioning. Don't just start shoving in a whole pile of fermented vegetables and bone broth if you don't have a good gut to begin with, because the histamines are actually going to flare you up more. So if you don't have a great gut to begin with, you need to cut out the stuff before you can put in the good stuff. So you need to get rid of the processed food, the sugar and all that crap before you bring in the good bugs and the good fermented foods. Otherwise, if you do that too early, it's going to blow you up like really badly. So don't do that. Something that's really great for food cravings for PMS is sweet potato and roasted veggies and all that, because then you get that caramelization and the sweetness without actually eating chocolate or something. So try and find a healthy alternative for what you're actually craving. If you're craving like sweet potato chips, or sorry, if you're craving chips like in a bag chips, then why don't you make your own homemade chips and make tons of them, or at least cut tons of them at the beginning of the week so they're ready to rock and roll. Also, you can be increasing your magnesium in supplement form under the guidance of a healthcare practitioner, and B vitamins to help reduce those cravings, especially sugar cravings. Use B vitamins to help reduce that. If you do get sugar cravings, things like nuts, seeds, avocado, sweet potato, roast veggies are all really good for that. The week before you get your period, you want to increase the root veggies to help decrease the sugar cravings. I'll talk about this in another episode where I do all about cycle syncing, because that's all in cycle syncing, so it all makes sense then. As a last note before I finish up, is that one of the reasons people can hate their period is because it makes you feel slow, and it makes you feel like, oh, I just want to go to bed. I know it's easier said than done, but connect to that, slow down, allow your body to feel that. The thing is, if you let your body do what it needs to do during each phase of your cycle, you are going to be better off. You're not going to get as worse cramps, bloating, period pain, acne, all that, because you actually listened to your body. It's when you rebel against what your body wants that you tend to get PMS. So if you're feeling like really tired and you're on your moon cycle, then have a nap in the middle of the day. Tune in, listen to yourself, because you're going to be a better person to be around for other people. You're going to want to be around yourself more, and you're going to have less like gross symptoms from your period. So just tune in, just go inward. That's what having your period's about. Some women go really inwards during their period, really reflective, and other women are like, woo! So find what it is for you and tune into that and honor that, because it's bloody beautiful. Like, you should, I don't want to say you should, but try and feel blessed that you get to have such an incredible body. Like, you've got your period. So many women want their period. That was me. I want my period so badly. I don't have my period since my accident. I still don't have it now, and I probably won't have it for another month or two because of the stress and the constant trauma that like went through and is still going through with learning how to walk again. But I'm giving my body time and I'm tuning in. do the same, because I cannot wait to get my period back and get those cycles and the fluctuations and ovulate and whatnot, because it's freaking awesome. So that is a quick little sum up of some things you can do for the most common effects of PMS. Oh, I didn't mention migraines. If you get migraines, it's because of the drop of estrogen to progesterone. So you want to make sure that you're lowering your estrogen, so through detoxifying your liver. Please make sure that you subscribe, that you like this so that more people can see it. And of course, send me any questions that you've got, because I would love to answer them.